All right, so we've talked about standard form. Or sorry, we've talked about point slope form, and we've talked about slope intercept form, two different ways that you can write an equation of the line. Sorry, I started a little awkward there. I was trying to open this window and get some sunlight. So today you're going to learn about the third way, the final way you can write an equation of the line, which is standard form. Okay, so you should have notes in your notebook for all three of those: slope intercept, point slope, and now standard. Standard is my least favorite. And why? Because it's the least useful. You have this thing in standard form and you can't really do anything with it. You have to change it to be able to graph it. So we're going to work with it today. So here's standard form. Standard form is just AX plus BY equals C. A, B, and C are just numbers, and then X and Y are variables that stay there. The crazy thing is that A, B, and C are not at all helpful in graphing the line. You have to change the format to either point slope or slope intercept to be able to graph it. But just write this down so you have it. Okay, pause it if you need more time. So we're going to graph one of these. So let's say you're given 3x minus 2y equals 9. So this is standard form because it's of the form ax plus by equals c, right? A in this case is 3, b is negative 2, and c is 9. Okay, so I know it's in standard form and I know it's a line. But guess what? This doesn't help me graph it. I have to do some things to be able to graph it. So there are two options you can do. One is you can solve for the x and y intercepts, which means you can figure out when y equals 0, right? And you can figure out when x equals 0, and then have those 2 points and graph it. The other thing you can do is change it to slope intercept form so you can graph it. I'm going to do that one because I think it's more helpful. So let's say I have 3x minus 2y equals 9. All right, so we're rearranging an equation here. If I want to put this in slope intercept form, I need y, this guy, to be by himself. So I'm going to start with moving this 3x to the other side. So if I want the 3x to the other side, I take away 3x. That goes away. Take away 3x over here. Okay. So now I have negative 2y. So I'm going to write slope intercept form over here in case you guys forgot it. Y equals mx plus b, right? That one should be ingrained in your mind now. So because I know that term with the x comes first, it's mx and then add the b, I'm just going to put the negative 3x first. So negative 3x. And then I'm going to add that 9 so that it matches this form here. Okay. If you wrote 9 minus 3x, it's still correct. You just have to flip them at the end. I'm just going to flip them ahead of time. So now the last thing I need to do to get y by itself is to divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. And remember, I have to divide each term on the right side by negative 2. So what do I end up with? I end up with y equals, okay, negative 3 divided by negative 2. This is slope, so I can leave it a fraction, but I need to know that negative divided by negative becomes positive, so it ends up just being 3 over 2 x. I don't need to write 1.5 because I want to graph it, and that 1.5 isn't going to help me. The fraction is more helpful. And then what is 9 divided by negative 2? I can leave it negative 9/2 if I want to, or I can write it as a decimal, negative 4.5, which I'm going to do because it's going to be more helpful for graphing. So now that I have my slope-intercept form, I can graph. My y-intercept is negative 4.5, so I can come down to negative 1, 2, 3, 4.5, put a dot. And then my slope is positive 3 over 2. So up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. Up 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to the half points because that's a whole one up over 2. And then I can get my line here. And it's going to look something like that. So something like that, right? I can extend the line on my paper if I wanted to. So like I said, standard form is easy to read. I know this is standard form, but it's not really helpful for graphing. Let's try a couple more. Okay, 2x plus 4y equals 14. Okay, so I can rearrange this to slope-intercept form. So let me get my pen out. So what would happen first? I'm going to take away 2x because remember I want y by itself. Take away 2x. So I end up with 4y equals, remember I'm going to put the minus the x term first because that's slope-intercept form. And I have 14 still there. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. So this becomes y equals, well, negative 2 over 4 is the same as negative 1/2. So I'm going to rewrite it as negative 1/2 x. And then 14 over 4, it's some decimal, right? Let's just see what it is. 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. So I'm going to write that as 3.5 because it helps me graph it. Okay, so how do I graph this? I go up to 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5, put a dot. My slope is down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2, right? So there's my line. I can graph it. So the other way you can do this, just draw that line through it for you. Oops. The other way you can do this is when we talked about the x and y intercepts. So if you wanted to, I'm going to show you this way. So if you like just changing it to slope intercept, do it that way. If you want to try it this other way, you can, right? So if I make x equal 0, that means I'm trying to find the y-intercept, right? When does it cross the y-axis? So I could plug in x equals 0, and I would end up with 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 14. Now I'm just solving for y. 2 times 0 is 0, so that's 0 plus 4y equals 14. So now I just have 4y equals 14, which we already know. Then you divide by 4, and you get 3.5, which is what we got. So then you would come over here and put your dot at 3.5, like we have right here. Okay, and then you could do the same for the x to find the x. So when does y equal 0? When y equals 0, I'd end up with 2x plus 4 times y is just going to be 4 times 0. So that's just 0 equals 14. And then you end up with 2x. Now that this term is gone because it's 0 equals 14. So now you divide by 2. Divide by 2. I end up with x equals 7. X equals 7. So then I have this dot, which you could see if I had kept drawing my line out. Let me get a pink one here. It would have also gone through that. So it's the same line, right? So I just wanted to show you you can do this either way. One, you can switch it to slope intercept form like we've done, or you can find the intercepts and connect those 2 points. Either is correct. Okay, choose which one makes the most sense for you. All right, we've got a couple more left. Okay, what about this one? 2x minus 3y equals negative 3. Okay, let's move it to slope intercept form. That's the one I prefer. So step 1 is going to be to take 2x to the other side, take 2x to the other side. So I end up with minus 3y, that goes away, equals negative 2x minus 3. Last step, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Okay, this goes away. I have y. Negative 2 divided by negative 3, I just need to know that becomes positive, so it's 2/3. And then I still have my x there. That's my slope, right? And what's negative 3 divided by negative 3? Well, that's positive 1. So now when I graph it, put a dot on positive 1, my slope is up to 1, 2, over 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Up 2, over 3. So there's my line. So you're getting the hang of it. You can always pause and try these and then see if your answer matches. Okay, now we're going to do this one last example here. It's actually 3 parts, right? We're going to write the equation in standard form. So number 1 is in slope intercept form. So how am I going to get that in standard form? So let's do that down here. I'm going to actually write it this. Y equals 4x minus 8. So to be standard form, remember I need it in the form of this. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. So basically I need my x's and y's on the same side of the equation. Well, right now my y is over here and my x is on this side. And remember, I want to keep the lonely number on the other side of the equal sign. So I want to keep this negative 8 by itself. So to keep that negative 8 by itself, I'm just going to move the 4x over to the left. So now it's gone on this side. And what do I have over here? I have negative 4x plus that y is still there, equals, so what's left on the other side? A minus 8. So that's it, we're done. It's in standard form. ax, there's ax. by, there's by. B is just a 1. And c is negative 8. So that is standard form right there. All right, let's try number 2. Number 2 says y equals minus 1/2 x minus 10. So what do we need to do? We need to get the y's and the x's on the same side. So let's do the same thing. Let's move this x term to the left side so it's with its friend the y. So plus 1/2 x plus 1/2 x. This becomes 1/2 x. I'm just putting the x first so it matches standard form. Plus y. This goes away. What's left on the other side? Negative 10. So there we are. It's in standard form now. The x's and the y's are on the same side. Okay, what about this one? Number 3 is the trickiest. A line that passes through 0, 2, and 8, 0. Okay, so let's start with writing this in a form that we know, either point slope or slope intercept. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to do point slope because that's easiest for me. But remember, to do point slope, I need the slope. So let's figure out what the slope is. y2 is 0, minus y1 is negative, or is minus 2. Over x2 is 8, minus x1 is 0. So that comes out to be negative 2 over 8, which if I simplify it becomes negative 1 over 4, right? So there's my slope. Now I can put this thing in point slope because I have a point and I have a slope. So I'm going to use that one. Y minus, I'm just going to use this one here. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Y minus y1, well, that's 2, equals the slope, negative 1/4. And then it's x minus x1, and x minus x1 is x minus 0 because it's 0. Okay, so now I have my equation of the line. Now all that's left for me to do is put it in standard form. That means I need to put all the x's and y's on the same side. So I'm going to do a little arithmetic here. So this is still y minus 2. But so I can move this term, I'm going to distribute it, right? So I know that I actually don't need to worry about this minus 0 because it's the same as minus 1/4 x, right? Because x minus 0 is just x. So this whole thing can be simplified to that. So now I'm going to write minus 1/4 x down here. Okay, so now if I want my x's and my y's on the left side, let's move this one over. So to get it to the left side, I'm going to add plus 1/4 x and plus 1/4 x. Okay, I'm running out of space, so I'm going to come right up top. So what do I have left on the left side? On the left side, I have a whole bunch of stuff. I'll write my 1/4 x first. It's positive, right? And then I have my positive y, and then I have my minus 2. And what's left on the right side? I just took away 1/4 x. It canceled out. There's nothing left over there. It's just a 0. So now I'm looking at this, and I'm like, how am I going to make it look like standard form? I've got my x term. I've got my y term. All that I'm missing is my c on the other side. So if I take this guy, this minus 2, and move it over, then it'll be in standard form. So if I move it over, I add 2, and I add 2. Goes away here. So what am I left with? 1/4 x plus y. Now this is gone, and on the other side is equals positive 2. So there we are. Number 3 written in standard form. All right. I'm going to stop recording. We're going to do the next example in another video. You'll see another day. See you next time.